Hello and welcome to the Brick Festival in Weston super Mare. We're going to be taking a look at around all of the different bits and pieces that are on offer with regards to things like this brand new sealed, really old school, expensive Lego sets. Then we go wrap it round and have a look at some really nice diorama pieces. Then, of course, you've got all the pab stuff and a huge selection of minifigures as well. So there really was something for everybody at everybody's price point up in here. But we start off with the first stall that we come in. Now, with regards to all the bits and pieces that are going to be coming in 24 and then potentially at the start of 2025, it'll be very, very interesting to see if some of these sets go up in value or if they come back down in value. But the nice thing is with all of the stands and stalls, a lot of the stuff was grouped together like you would have in the shop. So there's a store here, very, very heavily Star Wars to start with, and you can see all the really older stuff just behind. But then you've got the Apocalypseburg, you've got the original Disney Castle, you've got the Disney's train station, the original Eiffel Tower, and then I think just to the left of that, as we start to pan around looking at all the other Star Wars stuff, you then got a group of all the modulars. You've got the Ghostbuster Firehouse, you've got the Fire Station, you've got the Corner Garage, the Red Roller Coaster, the Ferris Wheel. There's absolutely everything there, and some of these bits and pieces I had never seen before with the box, let alone brand new and still sealed, and obviously some of them were protected in the shrink wrap as well. So it's very, very impressive to see all of this. And like I said, this was the first thing you saw when you started to walk in. Now, it did seem to be an ongoing trend that there was a lot of Bricklink sets available here, and there was also some sets from the Lego house as well. But you can see you've got the old fishing store just up on there, and Barracuda Bay is just sneaking its way into frame just in the back as well. And then as we carry on the same stall, you can see all these nice different bits and pieces at the front. So you've got the smaller stuff at the front with all the base plates, and then you've got the really, really big sets just towards the back. Then you've got these cool things here with the dimensions. Now, they were actually new and sealed in a couple of places. You have got the Batman superhero cave. You've got some of the older space stuff. You've got the Joker Manor from the Batman movie just in there. You've got the original Tumbler. You've got all of the creator cars and all the Technic stuff just together. And you've also got the Ghostbuster car that goes in the Ghostbuster Firehouse. You've got the Lego Ideas set. Then you've got a couple of the Doctor Who sets just in there. Then in front of us, we've got a mix mash of the original Blacksmith that was just there. I completely missed that when I was walking around. I've only just spotted that. I should have picked that up and actually taken a proper look at that, because I've never, ever seen that before. So that is one of the problems of when you're just filming through the camera, because you look through the little lens or you're looking somewhere else and you don't really look at the stuff that you film all the time, which is a little bit of a shame until you watch it back. But you have got the Jurassic Park gates there, some of the Lord of the Rings bits and pieces. So there is a huge selection, like I said, of all of the different themes across the back, and then you've got all of these smaller themes across the front. And again, depending on the size of the box will very much depend on the price of those sets as well. But you've got some of the older Lord of the Rings stuff, some of the original Indiana Jones sets as well, which is always really nice to see, especially as the last wave didn't really do too well. They didn't release all of them for obviously reasons that we're not going to go into. But you can see you've got the castle up there. You have got one Monsters Fighters house set. Now, I was hoping they would have had the Haunted Mansion somewhere on this place, but they did not. Now, what I was very, very surprised about coming into this Brick Festival compared to the last one is this one was very, very heavily based on stuff for sale. Whereas the one that we have already filmed and done last year, it was a 2-day event and it took a good few hours just to walk around all of the display models, and then they had a big area for the shops at the end. Whereas all of this is in one big hall, and it worked because you just went literally from one store here. And then I think the next thing that we're going to see is a nice display. Then we move on to some more bits and pieces for sale. Then we move on to a nice display as well. But they had 3 or 4 really big displays, which is beautiful to see. So a massive congratulations to those guys and girls that did put all of those together. I tried to speak to everybody that was displaying there because I massively appreciate all of the bits and pieces they do. And some of the setup time, I would imagine it'd be the same thing with these stores as well, was nearly 3 hours. Some people were taking 3 hours just to set up their bits and pieces. But if you look through the army of people, you can see you've got the Indiana Jones bits and pieces. You've got some Legoland exclusive stuff on the back. Then you've got some really well-priced smaller sets here at the front. And some Star Wars bits and pieces, Lego City, Lego Minecraft. You've got the bookshop just up there. You've got the diorama for the Jurassic Park. You've got Sonic the Hedgehog. There is, again, something for everybody. I said this at the very, very start with regards to the price point. and theme. I think there was almost every single theme here. And if you're not after any sets, but you want some like this, for example, polybags, they were good value. There was thousands and thousands of individual minifigures there, some really nice sellers that were there as well. And then, of course, you got some bits and pieces that were loose, some stuff that was pre-owned, complete mix of bits and pieces. I went in with the intention that it was going to be full of dioramas, and I was very, very surprised to see all of this on display, but I was very happy to see it. So, starting off with probably the first, well, this is actually the first lot of minifigures that we see, and like I said, they are absolutely everywhere. So you might have to pause it for different bits and pieces because this video is already half an hour long, and I am trying to get this up quickly because this was filmed yesterday. So this is only going to be 24 hours old, if that, by the time that this actually goes up. But you can see there's Spidey with the Christmas jumper, and then you've got a good mix and array again of all the different bits and pieces. I do find that when they're in those display cabinets, it seems to be the Minecraft minifigures really, really stand out. Now, Lethal Company, this is a fantastic display, this one. This is the old sort of Western type bits and pieces. As we start to pan down, you'll see what I mean. So we have nice little bits and pieces coming on. So you had that standalone diorama there just to the left-hand side, and then we have all of this. Now, I really do like this sort of old school themes that they had. So the Western stuff, I think it looks nice with regards to the bank. Some of these sets, I do believe you could have bought way back when, and obviously a lot of these now would have been mocked to bigger scale as well. But again, with regards to the travel time that these guys and girls need to get down to the show and then to set all of these up, you can get some really nice ideas with the Wild West Saloon and just little bits and pieces like that. It's just a nice looking thing. You can see how they've got all of the horses and all the horses and carts. Let's just try and get the words out. And then you can see then you've got like a little fruit and veg bit and piece where you've got the general store just at the front. And then you've got all the other sort of accommodation and different bits and pieces like that. So it does look very, very smart indeed. And it's obviously a really good use of tan bricks. There's a lot going on with that one. And then Mr. Derek Evans. So he is a really nice gentleman that I spoke to for a good while at the convention. He, bless him, set this up. I think this took him over 3 hours to set up. And this was the first time, I do believe, that he had actually connected it together this big, because he actually had to increase the length of the track ever so slightly. So he had a bit of a panic moment getting all of this together, and it came across beautifully. So I think he's done an absolutely fantastic job with regards to all of the different bits and pieces that he's put up there, and it was a very, very nice display. So I am glad that I met some of the people that I met over here. So his Instagram handle, because this is one of them that I did pick up, is called Grandad's Brick Garden, and has got a lot of different photos from the event already there, and I really did like all of the bits and pieces. Now, you're going to have to spot some stuff, because what I really appreciate is all of the leaves have changed on everything. So you can see the two trains that are going round. So you can see you've got the Harry Potter train, and then obviously you've got I think that is the older, or maybe still the current sort of dock type train. All of these leaves and the shrubbery looks fantastic, but can you spot the difference on the Winnie the Pooh house? Can you spot the difference on the tree house as well? Because all of these have just been blended in perfectly. So you can see all of the different plants, all of the different bits and pieces. I've got some fantastic ideas for different bits and pieces if I can actually get around to doing it. And again, how the A-frame cabin now just sits beside the different leaf of that treehouse. I think I much prefer the lily pad style than what it did originally come with. So I think that looks so much better. You've got the little birds and everything in there, and then it just wraps all the way round. There is so much going on with this, and I am very, very much looking forward to future developments, because I have heard whispers from the man himself that he wants to carry on and doing different bits and pieces. Now, moving on to the next stall. So again, like I said, it's a complete mix. Some retired sets that are in there. So you've got some Scooby-Doo, you've got some nice Ninjago stuff, older Star Wars bits and pieces, you've got Marvel Spider-Man, and then you've got some obviously old Avengers stuff there, I do believe. Some of the original Lego City bits and bobs, more Star Wars, and again, the more expensive stuff a little bit further back. You've got the retired Lego Creator Bus, and then you have got the Pirates of the Caribbean stuff and the original Harry Potter Diagon Alley, and then up there you've also got the Ninjago markets and some other little bits and pieces in the middle as well. So you can see you've got the 8080, I think that's the original Ninjago temple just up there as well, so that's a training dojo Dojo, I think. Then you got some Lego Junior bits and pieces, and then you got some superhero stuff. A lot of these come with fantastic minifigures. Speaking of minifigures, talk about that for a segue. You got all of these as well. So some of these, again, depending on the type of minifigure, just depends on the price that you pay. Some of them are 4, 6, 7, all the way up. I do believe, I think I saw something like £60 at certain different bits and pieces. Now, I have done my very best to film who each thing belongs to, but because it wasn't so much of a display show, and it was more of a things for sale, there was people stood there for a long period of time, obviously, because you are thinking about the different bits and pieces that you want to pick. So it is a bit difficult to do, but you can see here, we're about to go over to the Demon Hunter bricks. Amazing bits and pieces on these. So you've got all of these beautiful Star Wars bits and pieces, and then I think there's a little Star Wars display as well. So we'll take a quick look in here. So you've got the I think that's the Han Solo handgun of Who Shot First, I do believe. And then as it comes up, you've got all of these little packs. You could buy them on the day if you wanted to, and you would save money, but they do have a website where you can buy some different bits and pieces from. But this is what I mean about people standing around for a long period of time. You're going to, because you want to see exactly what you're buying. You're going to ask the people that are selling the stuff. So I do my best, like I said, to get the names of the stores in there for you, but if I miss some, I do apologise, because on a limited time just to get around and then obviously carry on with your day. But they got in nice little diorama set up, dotted around, and there is a lot more builds still to come. And because just adding all the files in, I was surprised actually there was more display models there than I thought there was when I was walking around, just because they're kind of at the end of the table. Some of them are easy to miss, like this one, for example, because you could easily just walk past this one and then move on to the next sort of vendor. But if you did take your time and do a nice loop round, it was obviously really nice to see all of the other bits and pieces. Now, the other thing that they did do very well is they did have like building bays for the little ones and the bigger ones alike. And they had like a colouring in section, different bits and pieces, just to keep the smaller ones entertained when they started to get too hot and overheat. And there was other little bits where you could actually think there's like a huge scoop area where you could actually get your own Lego bricks as well. That was kind of in the middle of the room, which is always a nice thing. And then you can see these. I think that Chinook looks fantastic with the blades going around. That was a beautiful looking thing. And you can see there that was done by Dan Jones. So congratulations to him. Again, I really do appreciate everybody's time. You got to remember the people that are displaying these. Not only do they have to get up super, super early, like the people that are selling the different bits and pieces, the only difference is that the people that are selling the stuff can't get the boxes damaged, whereas these guys and girls can't drop the sets, moving them in and moving them back out again. Now, again, moving on to some minifigures. I think we've got quite a lot of minifigures to be having a look at very, very soon. You can see how many of them had already sold. I would imagine those cabinets would have been full before we even started. And some of them were priced extremely well. And then some of them, obviously, depending on what set they come out, are very, very pricey. But you got this thing just here. Now, there were so many of them. I think this was over nearly 4 huge tables. And I think we're looking at 2 tables now in this sort of pan. So you can just see it carries on and on and on. There was so many people stood around there. So there's more to my left as well, which I couldn't film, but they were great to see. And then just beside that, or behind that, depending on what way I'm walking around, you have some other bits and pieces on display as well. Now, they did have these dotted around all over the place, actually. So you had the Monster Fighters one. This is obviously old shop displays. Then they had another one just here for like the Lego City space stuff. And then there was another 2, I think, on some other random tables dotted around. Now, this did look very impressive. There's a little bit of artwork for Short Circuit. And I do believe there's another one just to the other side as well. So I think we're going to go pan all the way down to Short Circuit, and then we're going to make our way over to the other side. So this was a really, there we are. So it's a Donkey Kong, that's the one. So it did look very, very impressive. But again, these are just sort of at the end of where people buy different bits and pieces. So it was one of those things of you could miss some bits and bobs, but I did like that Terminator head as well. So T2 Terminator obviously is based on the Judgment Day film. What a film that is as well. But if you have spotted it, the Donkey Kong is on the support wise on the Lego Ideas. So if you scan that QR code, you could support it, and it's always nice to see people that are doing that kind of thing and seeing the bits and pieces in hand, especially when you think it's going to be going through. So you can actually get a good idea of the scale, and you're basically a year ahead of absolutely everybody else. So if you wanted to start making space in your display, or you're looking forward to something that is coming, then obviously that is very, very handy, because it happened at the last show with the Nightmare Before Christmas, because those guys and girls they were competition winners. They were already there, so you could actually see their own design in person, and that does look very, very impressive. And now we're not too far away from that coming out. But again, the nice thing about all of these conventions is they've got a lot of the giveaways on display as well. So you can pick all of these up for a very fair price, I think, because don't forget some of these, the price point that you have to break to be able to get them could be well into the hundreds. So if you like the giveaway, but you didn't want to spend that amount of money, you could just spend 25 or 30 pounds instead on a set that you like, rather than having to spend hundreds and hundreds just to get something else. So again, with that Star Wars set, for example, for £33, I think the price point to break on that was either 175 or 225. I do believe. So at least that way you can save yourself a good amount of money. Now, it's never a bad thing to look at a block of cheese. So you've got the big one and the smaller one, which does look nice. And this is done from big grey bricks. And again, you've got the Falcon on the other side. So these are cool looking things. And it did have a really nice little bit of details. You've got all the blue and everything wraps round on the back. And you had the colours of the engines on the Star Destroyer as well. So they did look very, very good. And again, this is just on its sort of standalone table in between all of, well, these bits and pieces, as you can see. So then you literally go from one table to another, and you could again easily miss that stuff. So just pay attention to it all. Speed Champions, great price for they were £20 and under. So you can see some of them were in the teens. So I think some of them were 1, 5, and 17 as well. So they're very, very competitive with the prices, and some of them are obviously hard to find as well. You can see the 2-pack there for 40, and then you've got a lot of Harry Potter bits and pieces for 22. Again, that's another giveaway. So for £25 for that. But again, if you missed out on some of the Winter Village stuff, because sometimes they do a double giveaway purchase over the December period. So you end up getting the Winter Village set with the giveaway, and then they'll release another giveaway, and then you're struggling to get yourself something. So it's always nice to have as a backup. Then you've got the Pac-Man, and then you've got the nice Lego Creator Assembly Square. That's a beautiful looking set. And then you've got some Shang-Chi stuff. You've got Jurassic World bits and pieces. Now, this surprised me, actually. I thought that was a very, very good price. £80 for the Lego house under the, obviously, that is exclusive, or it was at one point, exclusive to the Lego house. But then it did, I do believe, come out on the Lego website for a short period of time. But if you were to have to fly over to Billund, go to the Lego house and pick it up, that is actually cheaper just coming to this event and picking that up, because you cannot get a flight and buy it for that amount of money. So I thought that was a fantastic price on that one. And then again, with regards to all these little bits and pieces, these are always good fun because you can go rummaging through. You've got some nice little base plates just on there, so you can see one. I think that was 1 for 6 or 2 for 10. And then with regards to the minifigures, they kept it nice and simple because they were already pre-split, which was really nice. If you were just missing one minifigure at the wave, you can then also just pick up the one that you wanted, spin it around, see the price of it, and then you just paid your money. I think they're only about 50p or a pound more for the current wave. Now, this is a lovely little easy thing to do. So, like, for example, those lightsabers that are there, or any of the other elements that you can see, you pick it up, have a look at the back of the tag. It told you the quantity that was in there, total amount of money, paid your money, and then you just moved on. So that was really, really easy. And it was just a nice little bin to go through. There's loads of different bits and pieces in there. Lots of different vehicles now to take a look at. So I think there's 6 different vehicles just here. Now, in the distance, there is a huge, and I mean huge, Marvel display that we will be taking a look at in a little bit. I think that's about 5 minutes away. So between then and now, we have a serious amount of minifigures to look at, and we do have a couple of other displays to take a look at as well. But as I am thinking about it, because we haven't got too long left, I think we've got about 10 minutes left in total. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. I will be trying to get to 1 or 2 more conventions as we go before the end of 2024. But then also I am going to be trying to get to a couple of other different Legoland parks around the world as well. So it does depend on when the dates match up. Now, some of the stores like this one had a mix of Lego sets and minifigures, but a lot of the stands were either just Lego sets, or there was a lot of stands for just solely minifigures as well. But you can see just here, you've got the little F1 sort of Grand Prix track. That was a cool little display and diorama as it went round. It's a big old thing. And then you've got all these artwork bits and pieces. I thought these were beautifully and bright, so you can see all the different bits and pieces just there. Again, lots of people just walking past these, which is a little bit of a shame because I always appreciate to stop and have a look at them. And there's lots of different styles and different sizes, and the colours looked really, really nice. So I can imagine using those colours in any sort of design that you like, and then just picking them up and just seeing exactly what is what. In regards to your own design, so now you can see how colourful they are. If you did actually have any designs of your own, you can actually give it a go. So that's the whole point of this. It's supposed to give you inspiration to do different bits and pieces with regards to artwork and diorama. Now, polybags, some of them are very, very well priced. You had this older Lord of the Rings one here for $12.99. A lot of the others there were sort of $4.99, $6.99, something different like that. And then you can see a lot of these are actually from obviously the magazines as well. So you can pick them up for free. Well, I say for free, you got to pay for the magazine and you get given it as part of the magazine, but you do get some very good minifigures in some of those magazines. So it's always worth checking out your local sort of corner shop and all those kind of places that do sell minifigures. Because again, here, this stand has all of them differently price pointed. And again, depending on what characters in there will depend on how much money that you pay, but they've already been sorted out. So that just keeps it so simple. Every single one of those had already been pre-sorted, and it was nice and easy. They're still sealed, so they were still brand new, but they've been sorted out, so they knew exactly what was in there. They'd already been pre-felt, so to speak, with regards to looking for the elements and things like that. And then moving off from the minifigures that have been assorted to these little bits of displays just here. So you can see some of them. What I do quite like is the mix of sets that you can buy mixed in with other bits and pieces as well. So I kind of like that thing where people try and make up that sort of diorama. That'd be something that I would do just because I'm not creative enough to do any custom mocks. Now, again, with regards to elements and other bits and pieces, you can see that you've got all these different boats, lots of different canoes. There's loads of different size base plates and all that kind of thing there as well. So if there is certain things that you're looking for, it's definitely worth rummaging through all the different containers for different bits. And again, at the back just there was a 16 by 16 on water. It's like a desert island base plate on that one, so some of them are quite hard to come by. And then again, you can just see as we sort of pan round just how many different boxes there are on these tables, and also how big the tables are. So you can see now that we have got some sets for sale, but these don't come with the minifigures. These are just builds only, but you do save yourself a good amount of money. Some of them come with boxes, some of them don't, but if you're not fussed about the figures but you just want something else for display, then also you can just pick them up. So the Winnie the Pooh came with no minifigures. The ice cream one, I think, did come with minifigures, and it was just already built, and it was a good price, I think. Moving up to the back, you can see there are some really nice sets just up at the back. Now, we have got a lot of minifigures now to take a look at in a very short period of time. So you might have to pause it in certain areas. I've done my best to pan through nice and slow. But you can see the pricing at the front is £5 a minifigure or 5 for 20. So that is not too bad at all. So you save yourself a fiver if you get 5 of them. And obviously the prices will depend if you pan across, depending on what it is you want to be buying. Obviously, some minifigures are valued a lot higher than others, but it's also nice just to get some more generic figures in with the display. But obviously in the cabinets like these, they soon go up in price and value, and they do look very, very impressive, because some of these minifigures I have never ever seen before. So it's always nice to see something that is brand new. But if you were an army builder for Star Wars, this is definitely your opportunity to pick up some of these ones, because there's loads of them, absolutely loads of them. So if you want to make yourself some really large dioramas, this is the perfect opportunity. Get yourself down to any of the brick shows, and then you can sort of pick up and to your heart's content on some of the same minifigure, and obviously you can get some really nice photos. Now, as we're starting to come up, you can see the prices are increasing little bit by little bit, and then there was some that I've never seen before. So those just there for £125, they are, I think they're Vaxed Chrome, I think. Now, I've never ever seen those before, so I do need to do a little bit of research of if they're commissioned or if they're custom or what, but they did look fantastic, and they were mint condition as well. But I don't know if they've ever come out in any of the other Lego sets before. So if you do know, let me know in that comment section, because of all the things to see for the first time, Star Wars I have absolutely no knowledge on whatsoever. So it's something that I I don't know anything. So let's just move on. So Download Festival, something else I have no idea about whatsoever, apart from it was amazing. You can see all the photos that we'll have a quick pan around in a second, but the stage and everything, all of the different detail and all of that kind of thing, it did look so good. So they had the 2 different stages that were there. It did look very, very impressive indeed, and I would imagine this would have taken forever to put together, and then also try and get into the actual show itself, because it was over, I think, nearly 3 tables. So the size of this doesn't really do it justice. It is a really nice detailed thing, because don't forget the base plates are coming back quite deep. So this is called obviously concert stages. So it's the different ones. You can see who that is designed by, and then you've got all the really nice flames and all the band and everything just at the back doing all the different bits and pieces, and you've got a mix of the Lego bricks, and then obviously you've got all the Technic structure as well, all mixed within. And this bit now that we're panning over, that is what is based on. So they are the stages from the Download Festival. Again, something I've never seen before, but I massively appreciate. Now, moving on to another one of these. So like I said, these were dotted all over the place. Now we have a Lego Friends one, and then we have another one I do believe to come and have a look at, mixed in with some other big dioramas. So with this one, you've got is that potentially Lord of the Rings kind of medieval-esque diorama that's going on that one? So that looked very, very impressive indeed. Just you had all the lava and everything with the skeletons, and this was pretty cool. So you had the Lego space sets. So it'd be like Benny's space set, for example, Benny's spaceship, but it was obviously in the X-wing shape. And I think there was a couple of them there. So I really did like looking at them in newer colours. So lots and lots of different Benny bits and pieces. If you are a Benny fan, you can see he's got the cool cracked piece at the bottom of his helmet there. So you've got the big spaceship. I was thinking that they would actually make some more of those, because you can get one of them on the Lego website at the moment, but obviously it is not the space character. And then we have this one as well. So it did look very, very impressive with regards to all of the sort of spaceship stuff, well, the Star Wars stuff in the spaceship stuff. Now, moving on to this one just here. What a beautiful diorama this is. So this is done by Lego_Lee 40. Spent a load of time talking to him as well. It's really, really nice to see just the amazing effort that has been put into this diorama, and knowing what potentially might be coming in the future, I cannot wait to see what he has on display in the up and coming shows. But this was a huge diorama piece. You can see just how many base plates there are. And again, it's all about army building and all the different bits and pieces. You've got all the different teams in there. But again, you've got to look for all the different Easter eggs, because you have Cap walking towards the army by himself. You've got Thor sat down. You've got Thanos just over there. And then you've got lots of other different bits and pieces going on. So if you were to really soak it in and take your time, if I took a photo and just left it on the screen for a minute or two, you would just keep seeing different things all the time. And yes, you can see there me pointing bits and pieces out as we're going round. It's just very, very impressive. There's Tony sat down as well. So they are dotted all over the place. You've even got Thor's sort of hammer thing. And then you have got some little basic, I say basic, but you've got the nice little gauntlets there. I think that's pretty cool having both those side by side. And then we move on to a beautiful looking diorama where it has all sorts of different bits and pieces going on. So you can see that on the inside, what I'm trying to do is that they are all lit up, and also all the minifigures are lit up with their elements as well. So if you imagine that all of this was turned off and it's pitch black, there'd be so much light coming through the window. It did look very, very impressive. But I do like the fact that they've added in all of the minifigures in with all the little bits and pieces. So I do believe there's like a little Easter egg just there. You've got the town hall, but the emblem underneath the town hall is slightly different, I think. And then obviously you've got the other little bits and pieces that are going on, because I'm a big fan. Obviously the bank, I do have the bank modular, but the two to the right hand side I don't have. Now there is a few differences from this one compared to the last time I saw this. I am a massive fan of that hotel now, seeing it at that angle. I think that looks absolutely stunning with regards to how that is laid out. I would never have thought that that would be probably the best way to lay that modular out, but it did look very, very good indeed. So what you've got to try and spot is Deadpool and Wolverine, because they have been added into this diorama somewhere. Now, I have picked it up on the camera, but you are going to have to do your best to see if you can find them, and then let me know in the comment section whereabouts they are, because they have just been snuck in to the diorama, which I think is a very, very little clever thing to do. And then you've got the really nice looking Avengers Tower, then you've got the Quinjet up at the top, and then it's just a really good use of obviously all of the modulars, and you've got some little Easter eggs within the garage and really nice battle scenes, and it's just a good use of all the flight stands, and it just gives you ideas of what you can do. And I really do like the look of that fire station as well. So I think that looks great. And again, you can see there's added more bits and pieces onto the top of the Avengers Tower as well, which something does look very, very smart. And they have added in perfect vehicles, lots of different bits and pieces on there. And then just beside that one, you've got really cool little things like this, where you've got bricks made out of bricks. So again, like I said, that if you just keep walking around, there's lots of different things to have a look at and lots of different things to see. But guys, we are very quickly starting to run out of time. So one more time, if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. In the comment section below, let us know if you went to the show. What did you think of the show? Did you get yourself anything? Did you buy anything? Or did you display there? So again, massive appreciating for everybody that did it, for the effort of actually getting this stuff on display and getting everything for sale, because I could imagine your day would have been a very long day, and hopefully it was successful, and I hopefully will bump into a couple of people again at the next show. But that is it, and I am done. So guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and catch you next one. Ta-da.